I understand you've been traveling through Asia recently. Tell us about your impressions.
It was a fascinating trip we made to Asia recently. It was 5 cities in 5 days. I would certainly not recommend that for pleasure travelers, but for an economist like me, it was a great opportunity to get almost a 360-degree perspective on China, which is a very, very important component of the world economic picture. One gets the impression that China is still moving ahead, but at a reduced rate, and they're facing some very delicate transitions as they move from the short term to the long term.
So what is China doing to stimulate its economy?
China's growth rate has been slowing down, and so they've been doing what many central banks would do, which is trying to promote the use of credit. They've lowered interest rates, they've reduced reserve requirements, and they've lowered margin requirements for investors. This is hopefully going to increase the use of leverage, which helps economic growth. The difficulty is that China already has too much leverage, both in the private sector and in the public sector.
Is China's currency going to rival the dollar as a reserve currency anytime soon?
The Chinese would certainly like to see their currency have the same prestige as the US dollar, and over time they've taken a number of steps to position it for that outcome. Just this year, the International Monetary Fund has suggested that their currency is fairly valued and is considering making it part of what they call their special drawing rights facility, which gives it a prestige as a world currency. The challenge that they have still is that the currency is not freely convertible, which is a prerequisite for becoming a reserve currency, and there just aren't a whole lot of assets, market assets, denominated in the Chinese currency to really create a deep market for it.
What kinds of strategies are you seeing out of Asian central banks?
There are a variety. You have a couple of major central banks in Asia that peg their currencies either to the dollar or to a currency basket to keep it nice and stable. Hong Kong and China do this. Other central banks in the region have been trying to devalue their currencies in the hope of improving their trade position, but as everybody seems to be playing that game, nobody seems to be winning it, and it's a very expensive strategy.
Carl, thanks for your time.
My pleasure.